Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. And since I picked Steven Seagal, I'm decided to finally take a look at Above the Law from 1988. And yeah, this stars obviously Steven Seagal as Nico. What was the last name on there? Nico Toscado, who is a former CIA operative and now is a cop in 1988. They say he lived through Nam. So how old is Steven Seagal in this movie? In his 40s, maybe? I don't know. But 30s, I don't know. But he comes across an operation. He leaves the CIA at one point due to not getting along with someone in the operation group he was in, and now he's a cop, and this operation group seems to pop up again, and it may end up in this conspiracy to assassinate a senator. So this was pretty good movie. I enjoyed this one a lot. Steven Seagal, this was his first film, so he's on top here, in perfect form. Before we got to, I don't know, the later movies, but you can tell that Steven Seagal helped write this because there's a lot of scenes where like people are doing things that aren't logical, but they do it because he wrote it himself to be OP. Like he comes in there and there's these other cops, the crooked cops, crooked CIA agents that have guns, and he has one gun, he's like, freeze! Put your guns down, and they do it. And it's like, wait, there are like 4 or 5 of you and one of him. At least one of you can get a shot off. 1 or 2 of you can get a shot off before he's able to get a shot off. Why are you? Because Steven Seagal wrote it that way. And there's other things like people bigger than him that just fall down to him because he's supposed to be the overpowered hero of the movie. That's what it really seems like. This doesn't get as bad as his later films where he's the all-powerful guy that can't be defeated. I mean, I don't think anyone even shoots him in this film, but, you know. He didn't have the cliche at the beginning of the film where his partner, Jax, played by Pam Grier, she's all up 2 weeks from retirement. And I'm like, okay, you're dead. But they do, when you hear that, it's like, okay, you're dead. But, like, she gets shot towards the end of the film, and she survives, actually. She's wearing her vest. So, and there is some logic gaps in this. Like, the whole big reason why this CIA group, the Zagon group, is going after this priest who has smuggled these children, Guatemala or something, Costa Rica, South America, whatever, into the country. But that's not why he's going after him. He's going after him because the priest has found out that the Zagon group plans to assassinate the senator. And how did he find out? Well, it's revealed that it was told to him in a confession. I know confessions are where you're supposed to confess your sins. Sure. But why would you go into a confession and confess that you plan to assassinate the senator? I know you're supposed to go in there and say all your sins. But technically, and I'm really getting up in the technically when I say it, it isn't a sin yet because he hasn't yet committed the crime. If the senator had been assassinated and then he went in to the confessional and said, I was part of the plan to assassinate the senator, then that would be something. But like it wouldn't make as much, like it makes a little more sense as to why he would do it, like if he was feeling guilty after he'd done it. But if he just went in and like, hey, I'm sorry, my father, for I have sinned. I plan on assassinating the senator. And the guys, they're like, "Did you tell anyone?" "No, it was a confession. I don't say anything." It's like, yeah, that's what they're trained to do. You tell them, it's supposed to be. You tell them anything, and they can't do anything. But I've seen other movies where things are, you know, confessed, and they can't really, like, the police try to get stuff from them, and they can't say it. They cannot testify. They can't do anything because they swore an oath to the Lord. They're very religious in that. So he wouldn't have said anything, but they kept, they get him anyway. And then when Nico shows up, he gets captured. Of course, it's a Steven Seagal. He ends up kicking all their asses anyway. But there are some decent action scenes in this. I like the one outside. It's the, you see, like, in clips where he's wearing like the black tank top. It's that one. He fights these guys, and there's this big dude with a mustache, like, "Hey, those are my buddies. What are you doing?" He goes and he just beat the guy. And then there's the scene where he's fighting. Is it Zagon? I think it's Zagon. And he breaks his arm. It's the arm break heard around the world, apparently. Breaking his arm. Just hearing that noise. Just, ugh. This is peak Seagal. His first movie. The Aikido in this is pretty good. Before it was just things because he got too heavy to actually do the moves. So they had to. But he didn't want to stunt double because he's Steven Seagal. So they had to just kind of work around it later. Some of his later stuff. But this is peak Seagal when it was really good. This and Under Siege. And I would say Mark for Death and Hard to Kill are some of his good ones. Even the Glimmer Man, to a point, I enjoyed. I don't know if I have 10 that I would do a top 10 with. I thought about bringing back the top 5. It wouldn't be on Tuesdays because that's Tubi, but it's like Scotty's top 5, and then like my, top 5 Seagal movies, top 5 Nicolas Cage movies. Although that one would have to be a top 10. I don't know. I don't know if I have 10 favorite Seagal movies. I hated, what's that one? Hold on. It's sitting right here. I'll look for it. The one where it was an environmental movie. On Deadly Ground. I didn't like that one because it was clearly when Seagal was full of himself. And it was just all... I mean, I'm not against environmental movies by any means, but that was just too over the top for me. That was too... And then there's Fight Down Below in this collection. But I thought this was pretty good. Like I said, the fight scenes are pretty good. I think Seagal does a good job. I mean, he's just typical Seagal. But his acting is better here. It's not his later... What are you doing? You know what I mean? Just stand there and do this. You can sort of hear him. And... he narrates the beginning of this. Oh, when I was a kid, I was taught Aikido, and then I grew up, and I was recruited by the CIA. And we don't see any of this. It's just narrated with pictures, but we don't see any. That's just in the jungle somewhere. It's very, like, I think X-Men Origins Wolverine took from this movie. Because he's a part of the group. He didn't like the way the group was operated. He leaves, and now the group is after him years later. X-Men Origins Wolverine took from Above the Law. Because I was sitting there like, this is very familiar. And once I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute. He left the group. Now the group is after him. They're framing him for stuff. It's X-Men Origins Wolverine. They didn't frame him in that, but they do go after him. His wife doesn't die, though. And there are some actors in this. There's Sharon Stone, who plays his wife. Very small role for Sharon Stone, especially in 1988. I think by this point she was... Was she? Maybe she had... I don't know. Maybe 90s was her big thing, but for Sharon Stone in 1988, I don't know. It's kind of a small role. We have Gregory Allen Williams, or Greg Allen Williams, from Baywatch and Baywatch Nights fame in here with a cameo. Was one of the CIA agents. And there was this African-American guy hitting on Pam Grier that I thought was Michael T. Williamson, but it's not. I looked it up. It's not him. But it sounded like him. And then I was like, him? It doesn't look like... Maybe he's young. No, it wasn't him. So, but yeah, there's some... Yeah, this wasn't bad. I actually kind of enjoyed this movie. Of course, with the Seagal movie, the logic issues, you have to throw the logic out the window with the Seagal flick because, like I mentioned earlier, these guys just do what he says because Seagal helped write this movie, so they gotta do what I tell them. But they wouldn't do that. Whose movie is this? When we star in this, they do what I tell them. You know what I mean? Like, there's a scene verbatim where he has Agent Neely, which I'm going to defend Agent Neely here, all right? Because a lot of people, I've watched a couple reviews, and they're like, oh, he's in on it. But I don't think he was. I think he was just doing his job because, like, supposedly he's in on it, but I don't think he was. Because later it's revealed that it's actually Fox. That's the CIA one that's in on it. I think Neely was, I don't want to say innocent, but I don't think he was in on it because when they go down to check the, the evidence locker for the C4, the guy's like, oh, it's gone missing. By the way, the guy who tells him this is the guy from the Home Alone Angels with Filthy Souls videotape. I'm going to give you to the count of 10 to get your lousy, no good. That guy, yeah. And you were smooching with my brother. It's that guy. He's like, oh yeah, I took it out of here. And like, they're supposed to be in Chicago. This guy sounds like he's from New York, but hey, Chicago, Home Alone. This was a few years earlier. But yeah. And he's like, no, they took it out of here. Some CIA, Fox. Nelson Fox. There's your CIA guy who's in on it. Because they were kind of playing. Because Fox calls him, you need to get out of there. And the FBI showed up. So it's making it look like Neely is in on it, but he's not. Because when they find out that it was taken, the look on Neely's face, he's surprised that it's not there. Because he was trying to prove Nico wrong. And he's surprised that it's not there. When he hears the name Nelson Fox, that's when he's like, oh. And then Nico makes him take off like his pants and his shoes and stuff, makes him go into the ocean and steals the car, which is kind of funny. But yeah, I enjoyed this movie. Actually, it's a good Seagal flick. It's one of the good ones with Under Siege and Marks for Death and Hard to Kill, and I'd even kind of put Glimmerman in there, But yeah, not bad. I'm actually gonna say that Above the Law is pretty good. So let's go ahead and pick the next one. I'm going to try to keep this going throughout the week as well. I know I got tomorrow. I still have to do Father's Day review. Hopefully I'll do it, but who knows. Not looking. Right? Put the bag on. What we got? I see it already. Robin Williams, another actor one. 2 actors in a row. Where my pen? Here it is. Robin Williams, huh? Actually gonna look that up on the Roku thing. I'm in the bedroom. So I have 2K22 up right now. So, and see if I can't find one, because I know I said that I was gonna limit it to the ones that I own. But I'm not ready to. I have, there's Good Morning Vietnam, the Dead Poet Society, and Good Will Hunting. I don't know if I want to sit down and do those yet. Although I do like all of them. But I don't know. I'm going to look and see if there's anything that pops out at me. Like, if I can find Jack, that could be the one. But we don't know. We won't know. We'll just see. I'll just look and see if anything pops out to me on Roku. If not, it'll be 1 to 3 I mentioned. I could do Flubber, but I already did a Disney movie. I don't really want to. I don't know. But, yeah. So, what are your thoughts on Above the Law? Comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.